Oh boy. Um, can you see and hear me? Okay. You are not receiving. Okay, let's just see here. Oh boy. Okay. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Can you see and hear me? Greetings, fam, and welcome to Nine Ether Truth YouTube channel. I'm your host, Trinity God X. The title of this live stream is Question Everything Part 2. So sorry that it took over, let's see, 40 minutes for me to get started. I'm using this live stream software and it just was not working the way I wanted to. So I thank everyone in the live chat for your patience. If you're new to the Nine Ether Truth YouTube channel and you're a Nine Ether, welcome. I'm just going to get started. Now, last week I had technical difficulties. I used another platform that was like a cloud-based website to do the live streaming, and that just worked out really weird. There was words all over the screen, logos that was covering my presentation, and the live chat wasn't activated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over part one, just the few slides, and then I'll move on to the new information that I have in part two. Now, I'm just going to double check with the chat so that I can ensure that you are seeing and hearing me. If you can see and hear me, please type yes in the chat to indicate that you can see and hear me. I do see a few people typing in the chat, all these pop-ups. So I'm just gonna type once again. Well, let me just check with my cell phone to make sure that I'm being seen and heard. Um, if you do hear noise in the background, please do ignore it. I'm close to the front door of my apartment and there's people in the hallway making noise, so I do apologize for that in advance. So I do see my screen on the um, let's see here. Testing, testing, one, two, three. Please let me know if you can hear me by typing yes in the chat. Okay, so my apologies to those who were waiting for over 44, 43 minutes. I was having technical difficulties. Last week I had technical difficulties. I tried this website, this free streaming platform, and they had their logo splashed all over my screen. And that caused some kind of difficulty because it automatically closed the chat and no one could type in the chat. I am seeing that you are typing in the chat, so that's fantastic. You say you can see me, you say you can hear me. Welcome to the Nine Ether Truth YouTube channel. I'm your host, Trinity God X. If you are new and if you are a new sub to this channel of maybe new of a few days, few weeks, welcome. This is where you're going to get hidden information that you can't find anywhere else, highly valuable information. What I'm going to do is go over part one of this series. So I'm just going to review the slides that was not, you were not able to see the slides properly in part one because of all the logo that was splashed and the chat was closed. So I feel that it's very vital that you get the information from part one, and then I'm going to add on to this part two. I know a few people had questions in the chat. Let's leave that for the last hour or so. So I will do Q&A, questions and answers, in the last hour. We're still going to go up to four. So we're not missing anything, and I won't be rushing anything. There's just enough information to fill up 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So we're okay in terms of so-called quote unquote time. So let's move on. I'm going to open up my presentation here. And then I'm just going to get started. Remember, this is going to be a review for those of you who saw part one. I'll try to be quick about it, going through the slides from part one, but then I will move on. Again, please do type in the chat yes if you can still see the screen and if you can hear me. Okay, so I ranted in part one about UTURD and their unfair censorship. It's it's quite a challenge to put out the information I put out because my information is a real threat to the matrix and they don't want me to put out this information. This information that you're going to hear in part one and definitely part two is a threat to the matrix. They do not want you to hear what I have to say from my mouth to your ears. So sometimes, even when I have streaming issues and technical issues with my software, that is on a spiritual, etheric level because there are beings, there are entities, not physical beings, that want to stop me and want to place a hurdle in my way so that I can get you the information that you need. However, thankfully, yours truly, I'm Sagittarius, November 30th, and I'm very determined. I'm a fire sign. And I just continue to proceed and move onward and forward despite all the obstacles and hurdles in my way. So I do appreciate your patience. Thank you so much. Let's move on. So last week I touched on gold, and I like this because now you can see the information free and clear of any big logo splashes, except for the 9 Ether Truth logo in the bottom right. So now you can actually see the images. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And unfortunately, in part one, most of the my pictures on these slides were covered up. So none of that nonsense this week. And I was talking about how back in the 70s and 80s, 9 ethers, we were in gold. We had gold chains, we had gold earrings, we had gold bracelets, we had gold anklets. And towards the early 2000s, let's say about late 2000s, there were all these infomercials and commercials calling for cash for gold, and they wanted us to turn in our gold. And so in part one, I asked, why was there a push for giving us cash, which is completely useless? Okay, it's just monopoly money. Why was there a push for them to get gold? Obviously, out of the two, fiat money versus gold, gold is more valuable to them. However, not in the monetary sense like you would think. I mentioned in part one that gold is a conduit. It is a tool to help to harness electromagnetic frequency from the atmosphere. And it's also a tool to get free electricity from these energy harnessing antiquitech buildings of 500, 1,000 years ago. And it would seep down through the building using gold, magnets, copper, and things of that nature and get it to society in the form of free electricity. So definitely the powers that ought not be knows that gold is a tool used to harness free electricity. And of course, they don't want 9 ethers to know this. So they need to get the gold out of the hands of the 9 ethers. And of course, they hoard it in the bottom of the Vatican and the bottom of the Smithsonian Museum. They just hoard all our antiquitech, all of our tools that help to get free electricity because they don't want us to know who we really are as 9 ethers. So I was mentioning even when I typed in the word pimp costume, the part of the pimp costume, of course, is that big gold rope chain or that big chain with the dollar sign on it. And I also mentioned that the dollar sign is just the snake and the caduceus, which the medical industry uses. And in part one, I stated that don't necessarily view the snake as a negative representation. It means a lot of things, and symbols have multi-tiered meanings. And so the snake is a representation of transformation as the physical snake sheds its skin. And I mentioned that the so-called solar eclipse is also a representation of gold because that yellow ring around the solar eclipse is referred to as the corona. And the corona is another word for crown. And of course, crown is made out of gold. I also made you aware that when you are looking at a solar eclipse, all you are seeing is Black Mama Sun covering over the fake yellow sun. And at that moment, she is using her orb to say, "Here I am. This is me. I am the black sun." However, the powers that ought not be, they lie to you and tell you that the moon is in front of the sun, and then the earth is in the direction of the moon and the sun, and that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. Nonsense. I am here to tell you the real high vibration, high frequency truth that is hidden, which is whenever you see a solar eclipse, that is the black sun eclipsing over the fake yellow sun. I also mentioned that even flat Earth has a circumference that they say is an ice wall. I personally don't subscribe to the ice wall. I know that there's a force field in our realm that's separating our small, tiny realm inside of the circle from the other lands on the other side of the circumference. So all the ice that you see, of course, is CGI in my humble opinion. It could be ice, but knowing what I know, I think it's just a clear force field. And actually, you could see beyond the force field to the other lands. And of course, beyond the force field is tropical, and there are animals over there. There are even giants, 50-foot giants over there, because it is my spiritual speculation. That's where the giants made an exodus towards, which is beyond the circumference of flat Earth. So you can see on the left and the right are a representation of duality, with the sun, of course, supposing to be hot, and they have the flat Earth, which the circumference is ice, supposed to be cold. So already you have a representation of duality, hot and cold, yin and yang, with the solar eclipse and the flat Earth model. So there was an article here that I read to you, and it proved that the powers that ought not be refer to what you're seeing on the screen as the crown of the sun. And they go on to say the word corona and crown. And as I mentioned, gold is involved in the corona and the crown sitting on your crown chakra. And there's another article by the CDC that also references the C virus because corona means crown, and crown is made of gold. And as I mentioned in part one, gold is a tool used to harness electricity or used to carry free electricity to society. In fact, I made reference to the Yellow Brick Road in The Wizard of Oz, as I will mention later. And the CDC shows images of statues with a crown, with a corona. So, why is the Center of Disease and Control, whatever their acronym, why are they showing a statue with a crown when they're just supposed to be speaking of quote unquote infectious disease? So, and then I read a portion of the website, which states, and I will reiterate, although the term corona was first used in English in the 1500s, it was borrowed directly from the Latin word for crown, corona, is derived from the ancient Greek, meaning garland, wreath, coming from the Proto Indo European root, meaning to turn, to bend. And in part one, I mentioned that alchemy is really transforming something from one state to another. So that's really what alchemy is. So we're still on part one for those of you who are catching up. So the wreath, the wreath is the laurel. And so I underlined there that the wreath is another representation for gold and the crown and corona. So anytime you see an ancient depiction of a statue or a picture that looks like this with that circle leaf, it really is a representation for gold. I mean, as I mentioned, symbols have multi-tiered meaning, many meanings. However, the laurel represents gold as well. Okay. And who uses the laurel? As I mentioned in part one, the World Health Organization, and this is their logo. So you can already see that the powers that ought not be, of course, has lots of hidden information about symbols and meanings that the general public just does not know about. So I'm here to teach you how to decode, discern, and decipher symbols. And here in the WHO's logo, they have the flat earth depicted, they have the snake and the caduceus depicted, they have the laurel wreath depicted, even the circumference of flat Earth is also depicted. And yep, everything is right there on the World Health Organization logo. Let me know, type in the chat, please, if you can still see and hear me. Just type a yes, and then I'll keep moving on. Okay, so as I was mentioning before, I always wondered, look at a crown. Like there are clear there's a clear distinct shape of a crown. So that begs the question, why is the crown shaped the way it is? And in part one, I speculated and mentioned that I had a spiritual download that the crown is not just a crown to put on your head to say, hey, I'm rich, I'm a pharaoh, I'm a queen, I'm a king, I'm royalty. It was actually a device. And perhaps it had a coil attached to it. And the ancients of 1,000 years ago, they hooked up their cell phone, their laptop, or their tablet to it. I mean, who's to say? Because look at it. It is shaped like one of the Antiquitechs that are on the ancient buildings that are 1,000, 2,000 years old. So at the top of those buildings are spikes and needle-looking things and shapes that go upward and outward. And why are they shaped like that? Is it for decoration? Of course not. It is shaped like that because it has a purpose, a function. And the function it has is to harness electromagnetic frequency from the atmosphere and then transform it into free electricity for the society. So, as above, so below, as within, so without. Who's to say the smaller version of the Antiquitech at the top of the ancient buildings, which is the crown, is also not used for harnessing electromagnetic frequency or even just attaching it to your head and then having a coil attached to a cell phone. Or it could, if you wear a golden crown on your head, it could make you telepathic. So you don't even need a physical cell phone. Maybe Shaniqua and Leroy can communicate to each other from 500 miles, 1,000 miles down the road, just because they have a golden crown upon their head. So this was a spiritual speculation that I shared in part one, something for you to ponder. And I also made mention that in my video, Black People, You Are the Tartarians, I mentioned about gold briefly. I mentioned about the Wizard of Oz. And if you haven't seen this video, go ahead and watch, yes, sorry, watch Black People, You Are Tartarian. Watch that video if you haven't, because I go in deep in that video about Tartaria. So here it is, the concept of the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. And what are yellow bricks but gold bricks? So, yes, perhaps our streets were paved with gold so that we can have electricity come to our household or our buildings free of charge. And that was the original purpose 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. And of course, here comes the great world reset of the 1800s, I believe, maybe mid 1800s, and everything got flooded and wiped away. And something happened on this realm, a great cataclysm, a great shakeup, and some buildings were destroyed. Obviously, lives were lost, and around the world, on every single continent, in every single landmass within this realm, things got destroyed. So our technology got dismantled. Of course, our golden streets got dug up, and here it just leaves mud. And I mentioned in part one that in the 1900s, that great gold rush that they were talking about was so that the Tamahu could dig up what little residue remnants was left of our gold paved roads. Can you imagine our roads that you know of today that's covered in tar and asphalt? Can you imagine all of that being gold bars? Just think about it. Okay. And so here comes this cartoon. It was from, they say, 1961 that I used to watch in the 80s called The Tales of the Wizard of Oz. And as you can see at the bottom, the theme song for this is mind blowing. Like, how, of course, I missed it when I was a child. However, as an adult, now I'm revisiting the lyrics to the same show that I used to watch. Now, let's read. It says Tales of the Wizard of Oz, 1961. And look at this. Tales of the Wizard of Oz is a 1961 animated television series produced by Crowley Films for Videocraft, later known as the Rankin Bass Productions. Crowley, could that be Aleister Crowley? Anyways, let's go down to the very bottom to the theme song. And I remember this song as if it were yesterday. There are three sad souls, oh me, oh my, no brains, no heart. He's much too shy, but never mind you three. There's a wizard as you can see. Yeah, the powers that ought not be. He'll fix that one, two, three in that funny place called the World of Oz. Now it's very interesting because what is a world? A world is really a realm. So in my other live stream video called Black People, You Are the Tartarians, I mentioned that this is Oz. So that's the reason why there are 10, 20, 30 versions of The Wizard of Oz, including animation and cartoon version, because they want every new generation they want to send a message to the new generation that you are in the land of Oz. However, they don't want to do it directly, they want to do it indirectly in the form of a child's show. Remember that the powers that ought not be have a code of ethics, if you can receive that. They do have a code of ethics, and their code of ethics stipulate that in order for their spells and rituals to come true, they need to present the truth. They need to present truth in plain sight. And it's only for those who have their first eye open will receive the message. The rest of the automatons, the sheeps, are sleeping and it will just pass them by. However, everything sticks to the subconscious, whether you know it or not. And so this Wizard of Oz concept sticks to people's psyche, and they never ever once question why the Wizard of Oz is there. I mean, there's even a Michael Jackson and Diana Ross version. Like, what's the big deal with resurrecting this Wizard of Oz every 10 years, every 20 years? There's a new version. Well, now you know. And so in the yellow, I highlighted all the streets are paved with gold and no one ever grows old. Who never grows old? Well, it is us nine ethers that have the fountain of youth. And as you can see, it says here, if there were ever an anti-aging pill, it would be called, I would call it, and then she puts exercise, I X that out and call it melanin because that's the reason why these non-night ethers need to pop melatonin pills. It's Leroy and Shaniqua that's grounded up and put in those pills, okay? It's our aborted nine ether fetuses that are grounded up and put in those pills. Don't tell me anything about plant-based melanin, that's garbage. So now you know what's in melatonin pills. And I mentioned in part one, get the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper because when he's taking that pill, they're saying in not so many words, that is the melatonin pill that he's taking. And I want you to really concentrate on what the pill does for a non-nine ether when he takes it. Okay, so I won't get into the movie anymore. And so, whenever I type in Tartarians, this picture to the left is what pops up. So I made a correction and I said, these are not Tartarians. These are the Barbers. And if you don't know who the Barber people are, do your research on that. I won't go into it in details. However, Barbers are like Neanderthal. They're brutish. They're animalistic. unsophisticated, really, really low vibration, low frequency, low intelligence. So the Tamahu are the barbarians, and we nine ethers are the Tartarians. One is high frequency, high vibration, supposed to be the Tartarians, and the ones that are the low frequency, low vibration are, of course, the barbarians. That's who they are. So it's funny because they're trying to flip the script and take our spot, our place in this realm, and they're putting themselves as royal as the ones at the top of the pyramid, and they're throwing the ones that belong at the top of the pyramid down at the bottom. I always speculate that there was a great war occurred and Nine Ethers lost that war, and so we are the prisoners of war. We are the casualty of that war. We're living a low vibration life because we lost the war. I have to do a little bit more soul searching and researching to come up with the pieces of the puzzle about that. However, let's move on. So naturally, the Tartarians would have to look like this, okay? And not regular people like Devante and LaShawn, who's 6 foot tall. Nuh-uh, okay? We were 25 feet, 50 feet, 100 feet tall. This realm would have had to be built by giants. There's no other way you can explain those intricate buildings that are like 500 feet tall. You can't, 1,000 feet tall buildings. There's no other explanation for a 2,000 feet. Like, yeah. So this realm originally, those advanced buildings that harnessed energy and gave free electricity, the ones with the Antiquitech at the top. Yeah, Leroy and Devante, they built that, but except they were giants of 100 feet in height. So there's this article I found online. You can always Google it and read up on it if you want to. However, they were talking about the Tartarian culture in this article. I mentioned in part one, don't get hung up on when you see like 12.5 million years or anything like that. Don't get hung up with the years aspect of it because that will only confuse you. I speculate that 1,000 years was extracted from our timeline, and the powers that ought not be did that when they invented time, because time is a concept, it's an invention. So they did that to try to confuse people so that we would not find out where we are along the cycle, because we are in a cyclical existence and we are on a cycle. So you can read that article if you want to. So here is the perfect picture that really demonstrates how they disperse technology. Okay, if you think cell phones, laptops, and TVs and AI and Android and the metaverse, if you think that's all new, you're a fool. We are using recycled, re-engineered technology. This is old dollar store shoestring horse foolishness technology. When I say foolishness, they give it to you and they're trying to make it seem like it's new and advanced. However, it's not. They took ancient advanced tech from 500, 1,000 years ago, re-engineered it, and they are dispersing it to the public. However, they're giving us breadcrumbs. So they're giving us version 1, version 2. So here comes the iPhone 9, the iPhone 10, the iPhone 11, and every 6 months to a year is a new version of a software or a new concept. However, that's just to give you the illusion that we are going into a direction that's advanced. However, it is just that, an illusion. We are not going into anything called advanced. There's no such thing as advanced technology. We're using primitive technology today. And I don't care what Zuckerberg or Elon Musk comes up with, it's still reused, re engineered technology that they are using because they were given the information, the knowledge. And so they're dispersing it to the public as if, quote unquote, they're the ones that invented this and that. Tamahu barbarians never invented one thing. They didn't invent electricity. They didn't invent computers, they didn't invent AI, they didn't invent robotics, they did not invent anything electronic. Everything was already created and invented by Tartarians, who are the nine ethers in this realm before Tamahu were even created. And yes, Tamahu are created. They are clones of clones of clones of clones. So if you ever want me to do a video on cloning and human cloning and clones of clones, let me know and I'll go into that. However, let's move on. So, yeah, this may be a concept image, but who's to say that our society was not like this? Just people chilling, and we see flying blimps and flying machines just all around, and everyone has their own personal flying machines. And then there's this antenna right in the middle that's shooting up to the sky that's giving everyone free electricity. I mean, hey, I this looks like a drawing. I know it is a drawing. It's not a photo. However, it could be very accurate of society 500 to 1,000 years ago. So imagine every house looking like this. Money is of no object to you. Money doesn't exist. Most things are made of gold and they are intricately made, just like how you're seeing them. And everybody's crib, everybody's house look like this on the inside. And there's no rich or poor because everyone has this at their disposal. Everyone has their own personal castle that gets free lighting, free electricity. You have a tablet, you have a cell phone, you have a personal computer that's all ran on free electricity. Everyone's wearing gold and gold garments and a crown upon their head, and the streets are paved with gold. I mean, I'm excited just even thinking about that. So, this excitement in me is what the powers that ought not be, they don't want you to have. They don't want you to be filled with pride and confidence, knowing that you came from the golden era. This is why when they talk about the golden age, really they're talking about nine ethers and the Tartarians that were here and that was surrounded in gold. It's a known fact that nine ethers have gold in their DNA. I mean, come on. So this is the hidden information that the powers that ought not be, they don't want you to know. So I was mentioning about the chess pieces, and the tops of the chess pieces are really found on these ancient buildings at the top. And the reason why you see those spikes pointing up into the atmosphere is not because of decoration. It's a part of a machine. It's a part of a tool to harness electromagnetic frequency down into that building so that it could be dispersed to society in the form of free electricity. The horse is a symbol, but let's just leave the horse part out of it and just focus on the other pieces. The reason why they're shaped like that is because of the harnessing of electricity aspect of the building. And so these shapes were at the top of these ancient buildings. And yeah, so what amazingly beautiful buildings they were. If you look at your city, just look out your window at all the houses down the street or go downtown somewhere and just stand and take a look at all those buildings and skyscrapers. It is garbage. It is a dumpster fire trash compared to what we had 500 to 1,000 years ago. I mean, come on. And then society wants to tell us that we nine ethers come from slavery. I need you to understand and understand nine ethers do not come from slavery. Slavery is a hoax. It is there to make society think that nine ethers were captured like animals and made to work. And it's to divert from the fact that every phenotype at the bottom of the pyramid is a slave. They don't want their Tamahu low bottom of the society version to know that they too are slaves. Everyone that's not part of the 1% at the top of the pyramid, and I don't care where you live, what car you drive, what's in your bank account, what your income is like, everyone is a slave in this realm. You need to understand and understand that. So, Nine Ether transatlantic slave trade never happened. Okay, I'm not saying that there weren't poor nine ethers that lived in shacks and shanty towns and that had dirty, ripped up clothes. I'm not saying that. Okay, but the false narrative of sticking us in a boat like a sardine in a can and then bringing us, which will take 6 months one way and 6 months back, That logistics is completely nonsensical. So get that foolishness out of your brain. Nine ethers come from gold, royalty, and nobility. That is what you need to know. Barbarians come from Neanderthals and flinging of feces and rolling around in the mud, low intelligence, low vibration, low frequency. You need to understand and understand that. Okay. So these buildings were quite a sight. And the scale of these buildings, if you can see the little dark dots at the bottom, yeah, those are people. So these are massive buildings. This is why I know that these buildings were built by nine ether giants. They would have to be built by giants. And not just any kind of giants, highly intelligent giants. That's why the false narrative out there shows giants as brutish and dumb and low intelligence because they don't want you to know that no, giants that were nine ethers were very highly intelligent, just like we are supposed to be the most high vibration, high frequency, highly spiritual beings out of all the phenotypes, as above, so below, as within, so without, macro. Okay. So when you see the feather headdress that the red man tries to um, show the world, just know that that represents the crown chakra, and originally that headdress was made of gold. And of course, these antennas at the top of these buildings were made with gold. I mean, look at it. It was gold. Gold is a tool used to harness magnetic frequency to turn it into electricity. That's the purpose of it. So the ones with the golden crown would have had to be nine ethers. They cannot be any other phenotype. They would have had to look like Shaniqua, Leroy, and Devante. They would have had to. Common sense dictates. Okay. So when you see these religious symbols, just know they're not what they tell you they are. They are actually a tool used to harness electromagnetic frequency and placed at the top of these ancient buildings. They are actually Antiquitech. And so the powers that ought not be needed a reason to explain away why these intricate shapes were put at the top, the very top of these buildings. So here comes the invention of religion. And you need to understand and understand your precious religious symbol is not a religious symbol. It's actually a tool that was at the top of these ancient buildings used to harness electromagnetic frequency. So when you see these ancient pictures with these intricate headdresses, know that these headdresses were used for telepathic reasons because it is my spiritual speculation. If you have a golden crown on your head, you're gonna pick up something, okay? Whether it's you hear voices, which is someone trying to communicate with you who also has a golden headdress on their head, or you can use it, attach a coil to it to power up your cell phone or your laptop. So those headdresses were just not there to just look quote unquote pretty. They were a tool for your physical vessel to receive frequencies of some kind. So then in part one, I spoke of these monstrances. So these monstrances are they are something. So obviously they're going to throw religion in there and make it seem like it's a religious symbol. However, as I said before, these are not religious symbols. They are tools used to harness electromagnetic frequencies. And look at them. Some of them have a circle in the middle where something can go inside of. Some of them just have spikes that go outward, right? So it is my spiritual speculation, just like the crown, these monstrances could have been something maybe in your household, or maybe you carried it around so that you can, pick up frequencies, or maybe charge up your cell phone 1,000 years ago, or your laptop or your tablet. Who knows? It's a spiritual speculation. And of course, they tie in the monstrance with the religious symbol. So, the monstrance being tied in with religion, that's a false narrative. You just need to know the real reason for the monstrance. And even the word monstrance, it is amalgamation of two words, monster and trance. Okay? The monster has put you in a trance if you watch TV and if you think money is your supposed to be your only way of survival, and if you buy into the false narrative that the news tells you, and if you vote for a political leader, and if you partake in church, or if you don't know how to decode, discern, and decipher the Bible. The monster has you in a trance. It's that simple. If you don't want the monster to have you in a trance, then you get rid of everything society shoves in your face: religion, education, medical industry, foolishness, GMO food, meat, dairy, um, and make sure that you are self-reliant and you home birth, you homeschool, you eat a plant-based diet. You control your health and your body and what goes into it, and you control your mind and what goes into it, and you control your children's mind and what goes into it, if you want to be free of the monster that has you in a trance. So, yeah, Devante, when you're wearing your little cross and you think you're looking all um, fly to the females, you just have a device around your neck that was once perched at the top of these ancient buildings 1,000 years ago to harness electromagnetic frequency that brought free electricity to society. So here again are some of these monstrances, and look at the one in the middle. I mean, they're so intricate, and they're not intricate just because of the people of 1,000 years ago wanted to be fancy. Every hole, every groove, every gem, every jewel, the shape of it, even the size of it, even serves a function. And the function is to harness electromagnetic frequency. So the two pictures on the end are fraud, because it was not a monstrance was not created so that a religious purpose person can just carry it around just to show. Nah, a monstrance was made to harness electromagnetic frequency. And look at it. I mean, my God, listen, if this thing is made out of all gold, can you imagine the monetary value? And I don't really like to focus on monetary value. I more like to focus on the value of harnessing electromagnetic frequency. However, wow is all I have to say about that. And so these monstrances and these devices came in many shapes and forms, but most of them were made out of gold. So, as you can see on the right, those two globes, they needed a reason to explain why there was globes everywhere at the top of buildings. And here comes the circular globe sphere Earth invention. And just in case you don't know, you do not live on a spinning ball. That is a physics impossibility. You are on a flat, motionless plane covered over by a firmament. So, yeah, they needed a reason to explain away why there were all these globes at the top of the buildings. And these globes were there to harness electromagnetic frequency. However, they didn't want society to know that. So this is what I wanted to show in my part one, but the logo was covering it up. In the bottom left is a machine. Okay, what it does, I have no clue. However, it's clear that it's some kind of a device, and it's made of gold. So what it does, like I said, who knows? And of course, it's probably like a smaller part to a bigger machine. And so the powers that ought not be, they took all of our tech and they dismantled it so that it doesn't work anymore. And to the left, of course, are all these globes. Okay, I don't need to say anything about much more about the globe, because you can't stick to a ball that's spinning. Okay, this is the reason why I know, of course, gravity is false. It's just nonsense. There's no such thing as gravity. What goes up must come down. Things float based on buoyancy, mass, and things of that nature. So, yeah, and you can't flood a globe, so there's no way. So the Golden Globes and these award shows, they hold these statues. These are really devices that were once perched at the top of buildings to harness electromagnetic frequency. They just make it into a miniature form and tell you that it's an award that is given from one person to another. Little do you know that they are secretly mocking you, the general public, and they're laughing at you, not knowing that they're handing each other bits and pieces of our ancient nine ether antiquitech, including the Golden Globes. You know that award show, the Golden Globe? Yeah, the Golden Globe belongs at the top of an ancient building from 1,000 years ago because it harnessed electromagnetic frequency. And look at it. I mean, what a sight to behold. It is not only beautiful, it is also functional. So I like the idea of gold being a thing of beauty, also a thing of functionality to harness electromagnetic frequency. There's a lot of equilibrium in that concept, having function and beauty. So, yeah. And so here is, I mentioned in part one about a bowl. A bowl is nothing more than an upside down dome. And if you take two bowls and put them together, you get a sphere. So, yes, we are covered over by a dome, a firmament, a force field, which is really an upside down bowl. So, what in society do you know that has the word bowl in it that is worldwide known? Well, oh, fake slap, the Super Bowl. And so, what is the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl is that Super Bowl above our heads, which is the firmament. However, during the Super Bowl's quote unquote halftime, this is also where the powers that ought not be carry out their satanic rituals. And this is why they want Shaniqua and Leroy and Devontae to watch the Super Bowl because they cannot carry out their rituals and spells without the Nine Ethers' involvement and without your unconscious participation in that ritual. And their spells will not come to fruition unless they have the attention of the Tartarians, who are the Nine Ethers. So, Nine Ethers, don't watch this crap. Okay, don't participate in it. Don't watch sports. Don't play video games. Don't watch television. Do not participate in anything that the powers that ought not be want you to participate in. Do not give your energy over to this quote unquote war, Russia versus the Ukraine, fake war. Okay, all crisis actors, it's not real. I repeat, it is not real. The V word does not exist. I repeat, it does not exist. You are being hoaxed. You need to open your first eye and understand and overstand what is really going on. And so, yes, this is a concept picture. However, who's to say that we never had it like this 500 to 1,000 years ago? Who's to say? Okay. Maybe all the ancient depictions that are carved in stone and what have you, they chipped it out. Maybe we had depictions, and some of us, there are some pictures showing laptops and cell phones and flying machines and big bulbs and things of that nature. However, I think there were more depictions, but they just broke the statue down of, 100-foot Leroy holding a cell phone. They just broke that up, so you, so you wouldn't be able to see it, But yeah. Oh, and then I spoke about how I nearly broke my ankle. Woo! Just to update, my ankle is very swollen right now, but other than that, it's not hurting me. It just feels like stretching skin, and I am walking. I no longer have the boot or the crutch or the cast. As of, I think, mid-March was when I got rid of that foolishness. And yeah, so I fell running for the phone, and in part one, I said I'm okay, but the logo was covering it up, so you couldn't see it. So I wanted to make sure that in part two you saw it because it was swollen and it actually got more swollen. It got twice as swollen as you're seeing on the screen right now. It was bad. I heard the snap in my head, fam. I never, I've lived all this time without spraining or breaking anything. And then here, Wow, just looking at this picture puts me in shock because I'm like, Did I really do that?" Yep, I really did that. So, and then you can also see I'm a 9 ether too, okay? Because a lot of people try to accuse me and say I'm a shill or I'm an agent or I'm not real or I'm a bot or some foolishness, whatever is out there. So as you can see, my skin pigmentation, I'm not too dark, I'm not too light. However, I am a 9 ether through and through. So now, I guess that takes care of part one. What are we doing for time? 2:30? Excellent. So now we are on to finally part two. Now, in part two, I'm going to switch things up a little bit. It's still a little bit of Tartarian sprinkled in. However, I'm going to speak on alkalinity versus acidity. So acid being acid versus alkaline. And you might think that me speaking of the Tartarian Antiquitech, and then me switching it up to being alkaline and acidic are not related. Yes, they are related, and I'm about to show you how and why. Please type in the chat if you can hear me. Da-da-da-da. I'm looking on my cell phone. Everything seems okay so far. So if you can hear me, please type yes, we can hear you. And if you have any comments while I'm presenting, do go ahead and present. Do go ahead and type it in the chat as well. Okay. So the Tartarians, as I mentioned before, were massive people. Okay. To me, this looks like a what, like an 11, maybe 12-foot female. That's small. Okay. We were huge. However, the reason why I wanted to show you this particular picture is because, as you can see, I think they're trying to make the face look Tamahu. However, to me, the hair does not look Tamahu. I see kink in that, okay? But my point is, look at the way that she is dressed. Now, a lot of people may see this picture and think, oh, this person of the society, she's just being fancy. Every piece of garment, every headdress, every necklace, everything she has in her hand has a function. And so it is my spiritual speculation that the function was to power up Shaniqua's cell phone. Okay. Okay. Shaniqua had to make a phone call. Okay. And I see on that stick there's this little rectangular looking thing. I don't know if those are buttons. I don't know. Like that thing that the Tartarian is holding, it looks like a electronic device. Who's to say it's not? Okay. So a typical Tartarian was decked out in tools that could be used to harness electromagnetic frequency or to harness electricity for their device. So that's how they were decked out. So whenever you see pictures of quote unquote Africans naked and rolling around in the bushes somewhere, please, okay, don't insult my intelligence. That's foolishness. So here, um, so there was a point in the 50s and 60s where they would try to invent these things, and then when they invented them they brought them out as concepts to societies, at world fairs, and then they would say, well, forget this, it's not going to work, it's garbage. Who's to say that we never wore a crown on our head like that, and then we had a device in our hands such as the Tamahu was holding, where we could see a picture like a cell phone, right? Um, this picture comes from this article online that says devices that Tamahu tried to invent in the 50s and 60s, but it was a failure, so they never proceeded. Let's see what they're saying. On December 9th, 1968, Douglas C. Eaglebar gave a demonstration of the NLS, an online system that he and his team at the at Stanford Research Institution had been working on for almost a decade. Um, Eaglebart and one team member spoke to each other using audio and video that um, and a shared screen, swapping files and hypertext and collaborating on work. It was a historic day. The concept of the computer mouse also made its debut. Remember, we're talking about 1968, way before the internet, largely because it changed the idea of what a computer might be, a communication device complete with video. Companies like Western Electric played with their own version of the video phone, as seen in this photo illustration. Now that we all speak through portable televisions via the phone in our pockets, we know the real problem with video chatting that is that most of the time it's cumbersome. It's far easier and less awkward to send a quick line of text. So this foolishness that they are writing about, they're saying that, oh, this Douglas E. Eaglebart just came up with this concept, him and his team, and then they tried it out, they used it to communicate, blah, 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 and then they didn't continue on with it. Garbage, okay? The cell phone, okay, and texting and things of that nature is tens of thousands of years old if we're speaking of time. So in other words, what you're seeing on the screen is ancient tech from 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 years ago. Okay. Only thing is we incorporated a lot more gold in it. I don't see any gold there. It looks like plastic and metal and some wires, right? So a lot of times they'll put some tech on the market and then they'll yank it off saying that it was foolishness or it didn't work or it was too cumbersome or some excuse. However, just know that there's nothing new under the dome, quote unquote. So I'm showing you this plant because think of a tree is similar to our physical vessel, which you know this, right? The roots, the branches, the leaves, everything like that. However, to me, the crown on a plant or a shrub, a bush, even grass, a tree, it is the leaves to me that would act like the crown because the crown is a device that's used to harness electromagnetic frequency. And to be honest with you, I also think the crown sent frequency as well. So it's a sending and receiving device, the golden crown. So the leaves on a plant is also like a crown. It sends and receives information. It sends and receives messages. If you know anything about the leaves on a plant or a tree, you know that um, it gives out oxygen and brings in carbon dioxide, carbon. So what I'm trying to say is obviously the leaves are like a crown in its ability to send and receive from the atmosphere. So now I want to talk about alkalinity versus acidity. And again, you may think that this is unrelated. Okay, so now we're in part two. It's not unrelated to my teaching of Tartaria because at the end of the day, we are physical beings. However, as nine ethers, we're also spiritual beings. So there's duality going on in there. And there was a question that was posed in the comment section and somebody asked if all nine ethers will get to heaven and things of that nature. So this portion goes out to that person. I will be answering your question in part two here. Now, there's a lot of things they tell you about being alkaline versus acid. When you're speaking of alkaline versus acid, usually it's referring to food or beverages. Okay, so they're talking about what it is that you eat or drink when they're talking about alkaline versus acid. And of course, as you can see on the screen, they're showing you examples of what is alkaline versus acid. This is why it is vital that you maintain an alkaline diet, which is a plant-based diet. You cannot partake in what's on the right. Although the fish, I'm okay with the fish as long as it is free range and organic and not farmed because when it's farmed, it's a clone fish, and a clone fish is acidic fish. So Myself, I have a strict plant-based diet, although once in a while I will have fish. Yes, I will have fish. However, everything on the right, I do not eat. Okay. Sugar, sometimes. Like I'll buy a juice here or a box of juice there. Sure, I'll have that once in a while. Meat? Oh, no. I haven't touched meat in what, 18, going 9, maybe 20 years. My daughter was maybe, yeah. I haven't touched meat, fam, in almost 2 decades. Put it that way. Okay. Breads and carbs, yes. I do partake in bread and carbs in moderately, and sweets and dairy, not dairy, bakery, like muffins and donuts and cookies. Yes, I partake in that once in a while, not too often. Cheese and dairy, oh no, I am lactose intolerant. I cannot touch that shit. Okay. Egg, that's another thing. Egg makes me flatulate. So don't even, I cannot consume egg by itself. Now, if it's in a dairy item, sure, I'll eat the dairy item, but egg by itself, oh, it will do a number. I will get bubble gut, okay? And then you can't stand within 50 feet of me. So no. And coffee, nope, I don't drink it. There's a reason why coffee is so mainstream and is such a multi-billion-dollar industry, and there's a coffee shop on every other corner in your town. There's a reason. Okay? Coffee, first of all, me personally, it looks disgusting, it tastes disgusting, it smells disgusting, it makes your teeth yellow, your breath stink. I just cannot stand coffee. I am a herbal organic tea woman. I always have been. I'm from Jamaica, so that's how we grew up. All right. So me and coffee, not to say that, I mean, I tried coffee maybe once or twice in my life. Mm-mm, don't care for it. Okay. However, it is extremely acidic. Now to the left, now we're talking. Okay. As long as your fruit or vegetable has seeds, you're good. Because nowadays they're selling seedless grapes, and I'm not okay with that. Seedless lime. Oh my gosh. I am scouring my city to try to find a lime with seeds in it. Make sure your watermelon has black seeds, not white seeds, or make sure that it's not blank with no seeds, because that means it's GMO. Avocado's okay, but if you can get yourself on a Caribbean avocado, which we call it a pear, it's much bigger and it's a much lighter green and it has more of a texture, a better taste to it. Go ahead and do so. Cucumber, I don't like the English cucumber, but I like the long, dark, round one. Make sure it has seeds in it, of course. And of course, you could do the red onions, the red cabbage, and things of that nature. I'm going to tell you a little secret about red cabbage in a moment. Now, if you notice, they put the water in the middle because water is neutral. So it depends on what you put in water that will make it either acidic or alkaline. Now it depends on what region of the world that your your spring water comes from that will make it acidic or alkaline. So be careful with water. Make sure your water is alkaline and not acidic. And then watch the salt content and the fluoride content as well. However, the reason why I'm mentioning acidic versus alkaline is this is how we are judged here. When I say judged, I mean you want to keep your body alkaline. Cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. That is why, for example, dairy is very bad for you because it comes from a cow and you are not a cow. And so when you put milk or cheese or ice cream into your body or yogurt into your body, it recognizes it as a foreign object and tries to use mucus to surround it and bunch it up so that you can expel it and spit it out or blow it out of your nose. Well, over time, if you put too much dairy into your body or even meat, into your body, a lot of mucus builds up all over your body in your joints, and therefore now you are creating an environment for cancer to thrive because mucus makes your body acidic, or rather, mucus is an indication of an acidic environment, and cancer survives in an acidic environment. Cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. So the the benevolent nine ethers know if your vessel is acidic versus alkaline, and that is how they judge you and make and decide whether you stay here in this realm and get reincarnated back into this realm, or if you move on to the next level. Now, if your physical vessel is acidic, you for you transition, die, pass away, perish, however you want to, if your heart stops beating, you will come back here in this realm and get reincarnated and keep being recycled here in this realm. If you continue on and remain alkaline, you will graduate and move on to the next realm and the next level that is the oasis that is beyond the circumference of this flat earth into the next stage and the next level. That is very significant, what I just said. Okay? So if you ever get a chance, rewind that section of what I just said and let it process. You must keep your vessel alkaline. You can't keep your vessel 100% alkaline in this realm. However, mostly alkaline. Because if you're mostly acidic, it's a problem. However, it's not only food that's acidic versus alkaline, it's also people, phenotype. Ha! Here's something Trinity God X is telling you they will not tell you anywhere else. Barbarians are acidic, Tartarians are alkaline. I'ma say it again. Barbarians, which are your Tamahu, are acidic in their physical vessel DNA makeup. The Tartarians, nine ethers, we are alkaline. And of course, mulattoes are a mixture of whatever, a few. So, in saying what I just said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, I'm about to show you some pictures of various phenotypes. And um, now I'm going to make a game of this. Let's make a game of this. Okay. So you're seeing various sub-phenotypes, although the main phenotype is Africoid here. Okay. So I'm going to ask you every one that you see on the screen, knowing that I stated that nine ethers are alkaline and barbarians are acidic, is everyone that you see here on the screen alkaline? Yes or no? Can you please type yes or no in the chat for me? See, it's a reason why they say not all skin folks are kin folks. For in my previous videos, I have always taught you that forget what they tell you about mixtures and different being, many, many phenotypes. There are only four phenotypes. There's Africoid, Mongoloid Asiatic, Mongoloid, and Caucasoid. That's it. Just four phenotypes. Of the four phenotypes, the three that are acidic are Caucasoid, Mongoloid Asiatics, and Mongoloid. And the only one that is alkaline are the nine ethers, the Tartarians. However, within the Tartarians are mixtures because we have interbred with the acidic beings of this realm. So a lot of us are posing off and presenting ourselves as nine ethers, and they're not really. Okay, how can you tell? If you are a nine ether, you have a full nine ether mother who has a full nine ether mother and father. And if you're a male or female and you have a one mulatto parent or one non-nine ether parent, sorry, you are not nine ether. You may be eight or seven, but you are not a nine ether. And in terms of the ether scales, only nine ether is alkaline. The rest are acidic. I don't care if you're 8.5 on the ether scale, you are acidic. If you're 7, you are acidic. If you are 6, you are certainly acidic. Okay? Now, there are different um, variations and mixtures. However, if you have even one acidic parent, you are acidic. When it comes to the phenotype, acidic is acidic. And what does that mean? Well, you have Tamahu strains in your DNA. And there are things that a Tamahu is susceptible to that a 9 ether is not, i.e., sunburn, i.e., osteoporosis, i.e., melano- uh, mel- um, melanoma. Okay, I need to you to understand it and overstand. Nine ethers are not the same as the rest of the ethers. We are different. We are different species. Okay, so in other words, I'm gonna go through them one by one because I want those who hear my teachings to actually be able to learn and demonstrate that they have learned. Now, Angela says no, and you are right. Okay, not all skin folks are kin folks. Okay, so definitely not all these nine ethers are nine ethers. So what do we have here? What do they got? Sudanid, nine ether, Kafrid, nine ether. You could agree or disagree with me. It's okay. I'm just going through these for the first time. Congolese id, nine ether. Everyone. Okay, so everyone on the top row is a nine ether, and it's not the shade of your skin. It's not only the shade of your skin, it's the texture of your hair, it is the color of your eyes, it is the size of your lip and your nose. As a female, it's the size of your buttocks. Okay. Um, it is also, yeah, so these are distinct nine ether phenotype features. You won't find that on a mongoloid. You won't find it on an Asiatic mongoloid. You won't find it on a caucasoid unless they are a hybrid. And still, hybrid is not a nine ether. A hybrid is just a hybrid. A hybrid is just biracial. Second row, East Africa. Now, see, this to me, the ones that are Eritrean, Ethiopians, and Somalians are not nine ethers. Let's not be funny. Let's keep it 100. Let's be real. Okay, the thing on your head cannot be the texture of animal fur. If it's animal fur, whether it's curly or straight, if it's animal fur texture, you are not a nine ether. So sorry. Eritrean, Somalians. So the entire second row, no. Third row, yes, yes. Last row, sorry, second to last row, yes, only because when it comes to the Asiatic, the almond eyes are innately nine ether. So we're the ones that they got the slanted eyes from, and not the other way around. Okay. So I would say that everyone's on the page is a nine ether except for the second row, because nah. So I'm just gonna flip the question and I'm gonna say not obviously these there are no nine ethers here on the page. But I want you to let me know in the chat. Are you looking at alkaline beings or are you looking at acidic beings? The chat is a little slow. It has a delay. Because remember what I told you about acidic beings, acidic phenotype versus alkaline phenotype. See, society wants you to think that acidic and alkaline is only towards what you consume, such as beverages and food. However, Trinity God X is teaching you acidic and alkaline is not only about what you consume, there are other factors that play out when it comes to being acidic versus alkaline. So just so that we can move on, everyone on the screen is acidic, okay? And this is the reason why nine ethers should not interbreed or intermix with the acidics, the non-nine ethers. Okay, I am totally against DNA mixing, completely against that shit. Okay, is everyone on the screen acidic or alkaline? Eh, I'll just give you the answer. So the one that is oh, this is easy. Okay, everyone on the screen is acidic. Okay, to be clear. And of course, the ones that try to sell you Caribbean food and hair product, nine ether hair products. Yeah, acidic. Okay, very, very acidic beings. Okay, these you're looking at acidic phenotype. Okay, game time. So based on what I mentioned to you about the phenotypes, I want you to type in the chat what number is alkaline, just alkaline, not acidic. What number phenotype is alkaline? And I'll wait a minute because there's a delay on the chat here for me to see this. Okay. I don't see anyone typing, so I'm just gonna. Okay. So basically, number one, number two, number four, and number five are acidic. Number three and number six are alkaline. Okay, so if you want to know why that is, why it is how it is, please just review this video in the archives at another time. But I want to move on. So in terms of talking about acidic versus alkaline, you remember in the Predator movie? And please, they had the Predator with locks, so he represented a nine ether. Let's not be funny about this stuff, right? And then the alien had the tail, so we all know who the ones with the tail is. That would be the acidic being. So you remember he was looking through the forest and he was able to see the aura, the heat sensor of the body of the being. And when the predator was looking with his heat sensor vision, he saw the brother. You would think that he would attack the brother and start to rip him up and tear him up. But his heat sensor saw the nine ether and he didn't say nothing. He was like, "All right, you good." Okay, I'm just gonna move on until I find an acidic being because in that movie, the predator was looking for the acidic being, not the alkaline being. Okay, when he see an alkaline being, he all right, he cool. So the benevolent ones in the ethers are looking down here to see what level you are on the alkaline scale. Okay? They don't fucks with you if you I'm trying to keep profanity out of this video. They don't mess with you if you're acidic. They in fact they try to destroy you if you're acidic. You cannot move on to the next phase if you are acidic. If you are acidic, you get recycled back into this realm and you continue to come back into this realm until you raise your frequency vibration and make your physical vessel alkaline. Now, if you become alkaline, then you can move on to the realm of our benevolent nine ethers because they don't want nobody over there who has a physical vessel that's acidic. So for all you meat eaters and you burger lovers out there and you chicken lovers out there that are nine ethers, you better rethink how you eat and what you drink. And let me tell you, once in a while, I love wine. I the only one I mess with is red wine. I love my Italian red wine. I don't overdo it, okay? I have one glass or two glass a year. Okay, and that's correct. Every 365 days, I will have a glass of wine. Usually it's around my celestial return date. Okay, November 30th, I'll drink a glass of wine. However, the reason why that is because I know that alcohol is extremely acidic. And also the sugar it contains makes your body extremely acidic. That's why when they tell you to drink orange juice when you have the quote unquote flu, you shouldn't be doing that crap. Okay? Not unless you take the actual orange and you juice it yourself, and even that is kind of maybe not. Okay? You're trying to keep acid out of your body. You're trying to keep sugar out of your body. You're trying to keep meat and dairy out of your body. These things I just mentioned makes your body acidic. So getting back to Predator versus Alien now, obviously that movie is talking about us versus them. Okay, if you didn't know how to break that down, how to decode, discern, decipher that movie, watch it again with your first eye wide open. It's basically talking about us versus them and the Great War, the battle between us versus them. It's a perpetual war. It's a never-ending war. But yes, it is a war. Okay, so yeah, Predator was looking for the acidic being to destroy them, not the alkaline. Shaniqua was she's safe. Devante is safe. Okay, unless Devante or Shaniqua was, you know, their DNA was intertwined with that of those who are acidic, that's a different story. Unless Devante or Shaniqua is a nine ether that partakes in acidic things such as meat, dairy, and their body is acidic, that's a different story. However, if Leroy and Desmond is alkaline, Predator will leave his ass alone. Okay? So now it's not only food and beverages that are acidic versus alkaline, it's also feelings, behavior, and emotions. Okay? You heard it here first. Trinity God X is telling you, teaching you that non tangible, intangible things can be alkaline versus acidic on a frequency vibration level. Okay. Non tangible, meaning you can't feel it, you can't touch it. However, it can still be put in a category of acidic versus alkaline. So here we're speaking of some feelings associating with some feelings associated with each emotion. Emotions can be either acidic or alkaline. So you got to keep your emotions in check, okay? Because it can change your frequency and vibration and make your physical vessel even acidic or alkaline. So in other words, if you never ate any food and if you never drank anything, and if you just change your mindset, you can literally change your body to be acidic versus alkaline. You heard it here first, Nine Ether Nation. So let's just run through these one by one or maybe row by row, whatever. So let's go with sadness. Okay. I want you, I'm not going to give you the answer. I want you to tell me whether sadness is acidic or an alkaline emotion. Simple. Just type it in the chat. Is sadness an acidic emotion or an alkaline emotion? So I'll just wait. There's a delay in the chat. And also this can help me to see that if you can hear me as well, if you're still paying attention. No movement in the chat. Please let me know if you can hear me. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Can't see anything. Okay, so I will let you know that despair and depression and sadness and all those variations, feeling a sense of unlovable, loneliness, neediness, guilty, feeling small, incapable, glum. Not only does this lower your frequency and vibration, however, it makes your body acidic. Okay? Because remember, your thoughts are things. Your thoughts can literally change your biological makeup, mind over matter, as they say. So into the next column, I'm still not seeing any movement in the there we go. Angela said acidic. Yes, you would be right. Okay? All these sadness category emotions such as sorrow and depression, all of that will not only lower your frequency and vibration, it also makes your body acidic. So please, Nine Ether Nation, control your emotions. I cannot stress that enough. This chart alone will scream out at you to control your mindset, control your emotion, control how you feel. Always check in with yourself hour by hour, minute by minute. Ask yourself, how do I feel right now? Okay. Right now, I'm feeling. Previously, I was stressed out because I was having technical difficulty with the live stream, but now my stress has gone. Oh gosh, is stress on the list? I'm looking. Okay. Well, I don't think that stress is a good thing. So stress will make your body acidic. Okay. However, my stress has since vanished, and now I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling jovial. I'm feeling joyful. I'm feeling content and secure and courageous. So I'm thinking I'm alkaline, mostly alkaline right now. Okay, so let's move on to joy. So is joy acidic or alkaline? Now, what are the words under joy? Lovable, confident, secure. Oh, those are most of the words that I mentioned. Strong, powerful, delighted. Yep, I'm feeling all of that. So definitely joy. I'm just going to move on is an alkaline emotion. So that's why you should never let allow anyone to steal your joy because it can literally change your chemical makeup if you allow someone to steal your joy. So don't, okay? Hold on to your joy and guard it with your life. So joy is an alkaline emotion. Anger, okay? And under anger, they have jealous, dissatisfied, intolerant, resentful, disgusted, conceited, stringy. What the heck this string? Anyways, all these anger emotions. So I'm just gonna to for the sake of being concise, I'm gonna move on. Anger is an acidic emotion. Don't dwell in anger. And I know that we all are capable of all sorts of emotions, high vibration and low vibration. It's okay to be angry for a minute. Okay, after a minute, get rid of the anger, let it go, get back your joy, move on. Okay, so love. Let's talk about love. Under love, they have open, satisfied, tolerant, kind, grateful, humble, generous. So obviously, love is an alkaline emotion. You want to keep yourself in a state of love, and you don't need another person to keep yourself in a state of love. Love thyself. So, and I'm not talking about nothing physical or strange, okay? I'm talking about loving yourself in order to, um, research more information so that you can put advanced knowledge into your mind. That's a form of loving yourself. If you want to dress up and look fancy, that's a form of loving yourself. Keeping your body clean on the outside, that's a form of loving yourself. Making sure that your body is detoxed, that's a form of loving yourself. There are many different expressions of self love. And of course, I'm not going to knock loving another person also. So, extending from internally and going outward and loving another person. You love your sister, you love your brother, you love your mother, you love your father, you love your friend, whoever, right? Of course, your significant other, your husband, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your wife. That is how you express love. And to me, the equilibrium of love is when you can love yourself and someone else. Now, I know a lot of people are single and there's no one else to love but yourself, and that's great. Although I don't find that there is a yin and yang to just loving by yourself, living for yourself only. So, for those of you who are single, try to find your male female counterpart because you know, you need to express love as well as express love to yourself and love to other people. Fear. Is fear an alkaline or acidic? Well, I will give you the answer. Of course, obviously, fear is an acidic state of mind. I mean, come on. Worry, nervousness, stress. When I was stressed out earlier about the live stream. Okay, indecisiveness. I'm never indecisive. I always know what choice to make. Confusion, I'm never confused. Impatient, I'm never impatient. Rigid, I can be rigid sometimes, stuck in my ways. But all those words under fear, you don't want to keep yourself there. You can be nervous for a minute. You could be stressed out for a minute, you know, but then move on and get back to a state of joy or love. Okay. And peace, I don't like this word peace, because the etymology piece means divided pieces of a cake, splitting it up. I never use that word peace. Okay, I always use oneness, a sense of being whole. Okay, so I should have X'd that word out and put wholeness or oneness. And yes, you want to keep yourself in a state of wholeness, meaning you are a whole person. You're not missing any parts, and also oneness with your Nine Ether Nation. So that's why in the chat I always type oneness, because I know that the nine ethers are all interconnected and we are all one in terms of our phenotype. We are all one nine ether nation, right? Whether they're good and bad, high frequency or low frequency, that's irrelevant. The point is, nine ethers are nine ethers, okay? So we are a part of the whole, and we are a part of the oneness, the one consciousness, which is the nine ether nation. So certainly always remember that you are a part of a whole. You are the micro to the macro. Okay. So this is the reason why it's very vital to raise your vibration and frequency. You've got to keep your emotions and your behavior and your self-care on check. You got to keep up. So let's look at the words that surrounding the figure. They say focus on joy and gratitude, which is what I stated before. And these are ways of keeping your body alkaline, 90 shake and move your body. So yes, be physically active to make sure that, keep your muscles moving. I'm not a big proponent of the gym. I don't like the gym. You can do little minor chair, like sitting down in a chair or in a couch routine, or there are exercises you can do while lying on your bed, or just put a yoga mat on your floor in your home or in your apartment and do some basic yoga moves. That's it. You don't need to pay $20 a month, $30 a month for a gym membership. That's nonsense. um what is it? Shake and move your body, work with crystals. Make sure you know what you are doing when you work with crystals. Another way to keep your frequency and vibration up is by doing rituals and spells. If you want me to do a whole um live or a whole video on rituals and spells, go ahead and do so. Please study that craft and don't just jump into it not knowing what the heck you're doing. Take baby crumbs, baby steps to get into the more advanced rituals and spells, because if you do it incorrectly, it could backfire and make your life miserable. So make sure know what you're doing. Journaling, listen, I don't know, to each their own. I don't want anything written that could be used against me. So it's up to you if you want to do the journaling. Deep belly breathing, certainly. Take your breath of life. Make sure you take your deep breath of life on a daily basis. Meditation, of course, you go inward, because spirituality requires that you go inward. Religion requires you go outward. Do not do the religion thing for obvious reasons, because religion is garbage, it's man-made, it's ineffective, it's counterproductive. Eat raw, fresh foods. Okay, so that goes with what I stated about fruits and vegetables, having a plant-based diet. Don't do the dairy, don't do the meat. Reduce or eliminate the sugar, the alcohol, reduce or eliminate that. And make sure you're 100 or close to 100% plant-based. Be present. So this one is very interesting, because you see, if you dwell on the past, you will be filled with depression. And if you think too much into the future, you will be filled with anxiety. This is where mental illness starts to spark. So don't dwell on the past. Whatever happened in the past, you can't control it. You can't do a thing about it. It's done. It's over. It's behind you. I'm not saying to forget about it, but don't dwell there. And as well, don't think about the so-called quote unquote future, because it isn't here yet. There's nothing you can do about it. So just be in the present. There's a reason why they call it a present, because presently you are given a gift. So be in the present. Listen to healing frequencies. Yep, there are certain videos on YouTube with this megahertz and that megahertz, you can just type it in and go ahead and listen to the frequency and vibration that resonates with you. You can always do that, or listen to classical music as well. That's always helpful. If you're trying to raise your frequency and vibration, I would highly suggest against listening to music that has electric guitar in it that is too fast in its beat or tempo, or that has words in it. Listen to instrumental, soothing, slow music, and you'll be all right. Take a bath with sea salt. Don't know about that. However, when you do take a shower, try to do a spiritual bath or a spiritual shower and cleanse your aura. So I think that's what they are alluding to when they're saying that. Spend time with nature. Certainly, if you could take your shoes off and walk in the sand or walk on the grass. I know a lot of people live in four season regions where there's winter. I'm one, so it's a little difficult. However, if you can get your foot in some grass or some sand, go ahead and do so. Spend time with nature. I said that. Stay hydrated. Make sure that you drink alkaline water. Do not drink the government tap water under any circumstances. So, getting back to what I was mentioning about music, okay, music can make your body either alkaline or acidic. Look at that. They never taught you this in school, did they? So, let's go through some of these. And I wanted to ask whether this kind of music is acidic versus alkaline. However, um, because the chat is so slow for some reason, I'll give you the answer. So let's go. We'll go so-called clockwise. We'll start from the top and then we'll go clockwise and work our way around. All right. So gospel. Gospel music. Is it acidic or is it alkaline? That is debatable. Some of this gospel music are so lit, they sound so uplifting, and the vocals are on point, the instrumentals are on point. However, you have to remember the message is acidic. So the singer's voice may be alkaline, the instrumental may be alkaline, but the message is acidic. And remember what I told you earlier. Once you mix acidic with alkaline, it's acidic. Okay, to me, I'm Sagittarius, and there's no middle ground. Now, of course, technically something can be mostly acidic with a little bit of alkaline, and technically something can be mostly alkaline with a little bit of acidic. However, Trinity God X says, okay, I'm a this or that type of person. I don't like the middle ground, the straddling of the fence in this context. To me, it's either alkaline or acidic. So I'm going to throw gospel, which is God's spell, which is these people's low vibration God that you're really worshiping in them church. I'm going to say gospel music is acidic. Let's move on. Jazz. Huh. To me, jazz is, of course, alkaline. Okay. And to me, it can only be alkaline if it's created, composed, and performed by a nine ether. And I'm not really talking about the ones with the words. I think the instrumental jazz to me is alkaline. When you're getting into words, the message may be acidic. So just be mindful. The only type of jazz, and you can disagree with me in the chat. Okay, the only type of jazz that's alkaline is the one without the words. Soca. Now, see, I'm from Jamaica, so I'm on the reggae side. However, I do love some soca from the 80s and 90s. So as long as it has a positive message, I would say it would be mostly alkaline. Um, but lately it's been the message is messed up. You know what? Soca acidic. That's it. Final verdict. Um, you can always let me know in the chat if you disagree with me. It's okay for you to disagree with me. R&B. Now, R&B can speak about love, but then sometimes it gets into the erotica, let me lick you up and down kind of foolishness. So, but I know that it's controlled by the industry. So even though I love me some R&B and some 112 and some Jagged Edge and some Jodeci and some Babyface, okay, unfortunately, I'm gonna say R&B is acidic. Punk, well, I'm not even gonna debate. Acidic. House, acidic. Dubset, I think. Yeah, industry control, acidic. Hip hop, extremely acidic. You don't get any more acidic than hip hop. And it doesn't matter if it has a positive message or not, it's controlled by the industry, it's mainstream. Put it this way, if it's popular, controlled by the music industry and mainstream, it's automatically acidic. Okay? Blues, it can be alkaline and it can be acidic. So some blue, but I don't want to go against my own rules. Okay, blues, sorrow, dwelling in depression. Nope, I'm gonna say acidic. Beatbox, acidic. Crunk, acidic. Funky house, acidic. Indie, acidic. Country, oh gosh, some of it is so depressing. Acidic. Folk, acidic. Lovers rock, which is that's reggae. See, I'm gonna say alkaline because it speaks of love. So I'm going to say Lover's Rock is alkaline because it's love, and love is high frequency, high vibration. Heavy metal, acidic. Don't even bother. Dance and pop, acidic because it's industry controlled. Calypso, unfortunately, Calypso went the path of soca. Acidic, alternative, acidic, but then there are some alternative songs that are really conscious, like REM and Four Non Blonde. Some alternative songs have a conscious message, a social conscious message. So I can't straddle the fence. I'm gonna have to say acidic. Anyway, grime. Well, that sounds acidic. Dance hall. Oh my gosh, this is another one near and dear to my heart. Youth. Oh boy. Unfortunately, industry controlled. I it I'm reluctant to say, but I have to admit dancehall is acidic. Bashment, which is a branch off of dancehall, also acidic. Garage, acidic. Acoustic, alkaline. Very, very alkaline. Extremely alkaline. As long as it's not like an electric guitar that's, well, I mean, as long as there's no words to me, if it's just instrumental, it is extremely alkaline because you're just receiving the vibrations of the instrument, of the percussion or the strings. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, yep, acoustic is extremely alkaline. Rock, well, rock music, acidic. Afrobeats, sorry, my peeps from the continent. However, your music too has been compromised. Sorry, your Afrobeat music is acidic. Okay, so let's move on. So there are some actions, sorry, not action. There are some movie genres that can be classified as acidic versus alkaline. Now, I know some movies have a mixture of both. However, this game in particular is just putting it in one category. You can't put it in both. You can only put it in one. So let's go through and figure out if it's acidic versus alkaline. Action movie, okay? That would be you're running through the streets, car chases, punching in the face, shooting, guns, type of thing. Well, those type of things give you jump scares, okay? And remember, fear is, we put that in the category of acidic. So an action movie is acidic, okay? Same thing with adventure. Sometimes they have jump scare, and that also maybe I'm getting old, but every time they have a jump scare, I jump, and that fear feeling in you will make your body acidic. So forget about it. Animation. Now be very, very mindful of animation because you might think that it's geared towards children. However, they sneak in a lot of acidic messages in there. Now, if it's mainstream or religious animation, it is acidic. Okay, so be mindful of what you allow your children to watch. This stuff is acidic. Comedy. Now, see, my favorite movie genre, hands down. Of course, comedy is alkaline. Why? Because it allows you to laugh. And when you laugh, you release endorphins that make you feel good. And when you laugh, it's also putting you in a state of joy. And we stated that joy is alkaline. Now, I know that they sneak a lot of hidden messages and some homo shit in these comedy movies. I get that. However, I still laugh at the end of the day. So remember, I guess this is how the genre makes you feel. So does comedy make you feel acidic or alkaline? No, Comedy makes me feel alkaline because I'm laughing and I'm feeling good. Okay. Drama, acidic, because drama is putting stress on your body because you're like, oh, there's conflict between this person A, person B. No, that will make you acidic. Fantasy, it depends on the type of fantasy. If it's a fantasy that teaches you a lot, like the sci-fi genre, I would say that it is alkaline because it is increasing your knowledge. And remember what I stated earlier, increasing your knowledge, researching, gathering information, finding out hidden information, that's good. That makes you alkaline. But if it's a fantasy where there's like gore and blood and people ripping people's heads off and being impaled, no, that's acidic. So be mindful. It depends. The historical genre, acidic, automatically acidic, because if it's talking about history, it's automatically lying to you, and it's a form of deception. Deception doesn't, no one wants to feel deceived either on a conscious or subconscious level. So forget about historical genre. Horror is the same thing as I spoke about before. I don't want to see people being impaled, and I don't want to have any jump scare to put me in a state of fear. Musicals. So if it's a happy-go-lucky musical and it's light-hearted musical, then yes, it is very alkaline. What is a music that's I would Little Orphan Annie. I know I may be like corny and lame. Okay, okay. I like Little Orphan Annie. Sound of Music. It's a little bit on the religious, lying about history type of side, but the musical scores, I like that. It puts me in a good feeling, so I would say alkaline. Okay, so depending on the musical, West Side Story, no, because people get killed and stabbed. I never even thought that it was like that. Nah, I don't like that musical. So depending on the musical, it could either be acidic or alkaline. Romance. Well, of course, it's speaking about love, prelude to love. So love is alkaline feeling. Science fiction, sci-fi. Be careful. It could be acidic versus alkaline. Thrillers, jump scares, and putting you in a state of fear. Your body's going to be acidic. Westerns, lying to you about history, deception is never good. So westerns are acidic, hybrid genres. Uh, question mark. I have no clue what they're talking about. Maybe a mixture. Yeah. Anything hybrid is automatically acidic. So we'll just say acidic and move on. Now, not only are emotions and feelings and movie genres acidic versus alkaline, our so-called relationships can be either acidic or alkaline. Look at that. No one else is going to tell you this except Trinity God X. Now, if these are two friends, okay, I still say it's an acidic relationship because acidic should not be mixing with alkaline because as I have taught you before, you mix in acidic with alkaline in this context and the entire situation becomes acidic. Okay? So, I mean, I know you have to go to school with these people. Your children go to school with non-nine ethers and you have to work. They're your coworkers with non-nine ethers. Do what you got to do in the moment and then head on the opposite direction of a non-nine ether. So, what you are seeing, the scene, if they are friends, it's an acidic relationship. If they're supposed to be quote unquote a lesbo couple, it's also an acidic relationship. Polygamy. Well, if you've been following yours truly, I have been very clear on my point of view on polygamy. If you are new to my channel, please search my channel for my polygamy video, either this channel or my old channel, and you can get my point of view on polygamy. It is supposed to be Asar, Aset, Heru. Anything else is a perversion. So this, what you're seeing, is an acidic union, an acidic group. Okay. So just to be clear, and I'm watching the time is 3:28, everything you see on the screen is acidic for obvious reasons. Okay? I'm not gonna go into it, but it's an acidic. So if anyone that you're looking at were to pass away, they would get reincarnated into this realm. They would not move on to the ethers with our benevolent ones. Now, you see, if you've also been following my videos, you'll know that the Jesus character is a fictitious, fictional character, does not exist. The one on the left, the demon, the beast, oh, that one is very real. Okay, the beast is behind the curtain and running this whole realm. Okay, however, the one on the right is a make-believe character. However, the dynamic between the so-called quote unquote devil and the so-called quote unquote Jesus is the acidic versus alkaline dynamic. Because in this representation, so-called the fictitious Jesus is supposed to be alkaline. He's supposed to be the good one, the high vibration, high frequency one. And of course, the so called devil, demon, Lucifer, Satan, whatever you want to call that being, is supposed to be the low vibration, low frequency, acidic being. So, this is the reason why you should not be acidic. Your physical body should not be acidic. You should not make your mind dwell in acidic emotions and thoughts. You should always be in a state of alkaline. So remember, these are just representations. The one on the right does not exist. Okay? Same thing with hell and heaven. It is a representation of the acidic versus alkaline dynamic, the yin and yang, the duality. Obviously, if, let's just pretend that the realm of heaven that they tell you is real and the realm of hell is real. Okay, I can tell you for without a shadow of a doubt, the hell realm is not real. Okay, if there were a hell realm, you would be living on it right now. Okay, however, the heaven realm is very, very real. Okay, that is where your benevolent nine ethers dwell. So, as a nine ether here in hell on earth, you want to get to the next level, which is heaven. So, you want to come out of this acidic environment that we are in, this physical realm, and you want to ascend to the alkaline realm, which is heaven. So, of course, there are things that you have to do to your body and mind that I spoke about before to keep your physical vessel alkaline so that you can ascend to heaven. Or, oppositely, if you drink alcohol, if you play video games, if you watch the news, if you partake in religion, if you quote Bible scriptures, if you're religious, if you don't care, take care of your physical vessel, if you're always sad, if you're always angry, if you're always depressed, if you listen to heavy metal, if you listen to mainstream hip hop on a regular basis, these are things that are making your body acidic. So it's up to you, what personal choices you want to make, because at the end of the day, the choice is yours. Trinity God X cannot make you acidic or alkaline. That is your job. So now that you know the way to ascend into the heaven realm is to make your physical vessel alkaline, it would be wise of you to keep your body, mind, and soul alkaline. And if you don't want to be reincarnated back into the physical realm, make sure that everything you eat, you consume, everything you think, everything you do is alkaline so that you can ascend into the heaven realm. Otherwise, you will get reincarnated back here, which is hell, which is the alkaline, oh, sorry, which is the acidic realm. Okay? So just know the difference between the realms. It's not just heaven and hell, it's also alkaline versus acidic. You want to be in an alkaline environment. You do not want to be in an acidic environment. You want your body, your physical vessel, to be alkaline. You do not want your body to be acidic. So this brings us to morals and ethics. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't even know what the difference between moral and ethics is. And I'm also going to tell you the difference between the spirit and the soul, because a lot of people don't even know the difference between the spirit and the soul. So let's go into ethics. This is the Google University definition. So this is not Trinity God X's version. So they tell you that ethics is what ought to be, how people should behave according to a higher standard. Okay, so knowing that there is high frequency, high vibration thoughts and high frequency, high vibration behavior, you should always stay in high frequency and high vibration. Now let's look at what they say about morality. Morality is customs that govern the behavior of a group of people. So be very careful because morality does not necessarily mean that you are automatically alkaline. Okay, so for example, the society says that it's moral and good to go to church and um, quote Bible scriptures and wear a cross around your neck. Okay, that's foolishness. That won't do a thing for your acidic versus alkaline mind, body, or soul. In fact, that version of morality will bring down your vibration and frequency and make your physical vessel acidic. I'm not saying that you should focus on ethics either because someone else's ethics and morals may differ from person to person. It all boils down to frequency, vibration, acidic versus non versus alkaline. So don't get hung up on morals and ethics. For example, if I steal a loaf of bread to feed my hungry child, am I being immoral? Am I being unethical? Well, some people might say yes because it's stealing. Another person might say no because you are doing something good, giving your child nourishment and sustenance so that the child can live. So moral and ethics are subjective and don't focus on them because they are deceptive. They are a form of trickery. In fact, completely forget about moral and ethics. Okay. Just do, say, and think everything that is high frequency, high vibration, and make sure that your body, mind, and soul is always alkaline, 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 and you'll be all right. Okay. Don't focus on low vibration anything, low frequency anyone. Don't focus on acidic food, acidic thoughts, acidic behavior, acidic emotions. Don't carry out acidic behavior and surround yourself with other fellow alkaline nine ethers, and you'll be just fine. So I don't know if they're trying to be funny with this diagram because some of these are, I don't know, comical to me, but let's just go through them. Okay. We need to establish what is acidic versus alkaline. All right. So a man and a woman marriage, is that an acidic relationship or is that an alkaline relationship? The chat is slow, so I'm just going to answer the question myself. That is an alkaline relationship. That is how it's meant to be. That is how the Most High made it so that man and woman can get together and procreate. When the 93rd woman was not able to procreate on her own, she needed her male counterpart. So that is a alkaline union. Remember what I told you before, having multiple wives. So it says man, wife, and concubine. Okay, so this is not, there's no equilibrium here, so definitely that union is automatically acidic. Woman, man, woman, property. Well, so a slave. So yeah, the the man, woman, woman's property foolishness is acidic. At the very bottom, man, woman, woman, man, polygamy are already established that as acidic. Don't even bother. Don't even touch that garbage. To the right, man, brother's widow. Hmm. Let's just see. Widow who has not borne a son requires to marry her brother-in-law, must submit sexually to her new husband. Acidic relationship, okay? The, do not govern your life by that rule that they just put out there. Acidic. Rapist and his victim. Already acidic. I don't have to read the explanation on that. Male soldier and prisoner of war. Acidic, obviously. Male slave and female slave. Huh. Male slave and female. I wish the chat was going fast enough. I would love to get your feedback. Anyways, as long as it's a male and female, and they're two consenting adults, and especially in the context of marriage, it is an alkaline union. Remember that. Whether you're two professionals or two community people or two slaves, we're all prisoners of war. We're all slaves anyway. So the bottom right, the very bottom right, is a alkaline union because it's a male and female, as it should be. Okay. So here they're showing various forms of what Google considers a family. Okay. I'm going to tell you that every single thing that you see on this page is acidic except for the top middle, which is family. It shows male, female, and child. That is alkaline. Sometimes there's a single mom or a single dad raising the child. That is an alkaline family. Batman, obviously, acidic foolishness. If there is a, let's see here, male and female at the very bottom with the dog and the cat, as long as it's a male and female, it is a alkaline union. I'm not sure about the dog and the cat, but whatever. Um, the only thing that is alkaline on this page has to do with a male and a female and possibly a child. If there's not one male and not one female in the family union, or maybe a single father raising a child or a single mother raising a child, it is an acidic union. So always yin and yang, which is the male and female energies, must be together in order for it to be an alkaline union, unless in the case of a single father or a single mother, that's different. Okay, so when it comes to what you intake, you have to know how to determine, how to find out what foods, what beverages are acidic, what foods or beverages are alkaline. And I'm going to share with you a neat little way of knowing that. So if you're familiar with a red cabbage, really it's a purple cabbage, but it's a red cabbage in my book. I'm just going to verbally tell you, just chop off a piece of it, maybe like a chop it up into little pieces, maybe a cup, and then put it into, this is what I do. I put it into a pot of maybe a liter of water and let the water boil until the water is purple. And what I do is I let it sit and cool. You can use it warm, but this is how I do it. I let it cool overnight, and then the next day the water will be purple. I will strain out the cabbage bits and just keep the purple liquid and pour the purple liquid into like a 250 ml bottle water. Now I have a measure, an indicator to help me to figure out if something is acidic or alkaline. Because if I take my favorite water and I just pour in, remember the purple liquid comes from the cabbage, pour in like a tablespoon worth into my favorite water, and then make sure hot water is involved. And then put some hot water from the pipe or some hot water from the kettle into that bottled water that I'm trying to test. If it changes the color you see on the screen, you can actually determine whether the liquid or the item is acidic versus alkaline. You can also do this with household cleaning products. I'm not going to name them specifically. You can figure out whatever you're cleaning your glass with, or things you spray in the air, or anything that you mop the floor with. You can use the cabbage water to test whether your cleaning products are acidic or alkaline. Why is that important? Because if you inhale these fumes, or if this lotion or this body wash touches your skin, you have to make sure that all the chemicals or everything that you use on your skin or that you inhale is alkaline and not acidic. Because over time, when you use these heavy lotions, heavy shampoos, acidic shampoos, acidic soaps, acidic uh, deodorant, whatever the case may be, builds up into your body, turns your body acidic, and there is a breeding ground for cancer. So I just gave you a way to test whether the item that you're using on your body or drinking is acidic versus not. What I'll do is I'll put a link in the description to a video that shows how you can use the cabbage to test whether what you are using is acidic versus alkaline. But if you look at those colors, it's very interesting. I did this with my water. So a lot of the things that I use on me or that I drink falls into the, I would say, the 10 to 14 category. Okay. I tested one cleaning product and it turned bright red. And from that was the end of that. I'm not using that cleaning product anymore. I am getting rid of it. Okay? So you must find a way to test whether your drinking water, your juice you like to drink, your cleaning products, your lotion, your almond milk in your fridge, your oil, your anything. You've got to find a way to test to see if it's acidic versus alkaline, because you may be inadvertently using products that you know and love, you love the smell of, but you don't realize that you're doing damage to your physical vessel because that lotion is acidic, or that juice that you're drinking or your favorite wine is acidic. So you need to do one of these alkaline versus acidic tests on everything that surrounds you or that you consume. Ah, would that be the end? Ha ha! Look at that. That be the end of my presentation. Woohoo! I'm so glad. Okay, so I'll just put that back on the screen. Alrighty. So now, see if I can go in the chat here right quick. Questions and answers. Questions. Please go ahead and type in the chat if you have any questions. In fact, I will type any questions. Doo, doo, doo. We have 15 minutes, 9 Ether Nation. 15 minutes. So go ahead and type any questions that you may have right now. Question. Hey, still waiting. I mean, I guess my question to anyone listening or in the chat is, what did you learn from my presentation? Again, I do apologize for the streaming snafu for the first 45 minutes. However, after that, till now, did you learn anything or do you have any questions? Now's the time to go ahead and ask. And there's a delay with the chat, so rather than verbally saying it, I will just type it out. I type out the answer in the chat. Well, I'll do both. I'll type and talk. Anyone with any questions? Going once, going twice. Angela, I see you. Thank you so much for participating. Eccentric, as usual. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate both of you. Anyone else in the chat? I only see Angela and Eccentric. Even if there is a topic that you want me to elaborate on that I mentioned quickly, that you want to see me do a video on, you can go ahead and ask in the comment section and the chat, actually. Um, so glad I got the streaming snafu straightened out. Boy, oh boy. I'll probably do another I'll probably do another live next week or around this time, let's say 2 to 4 maybe next Sunday. And don't know what the topic will be yet. Speaking about Tartaria, for me is whew, mind-blowing. I'm getting so much spiritual downloads just by looking at certain. Love being here. Aw, thank you, Mama. I love having you. Any questions for me? You're welcome, Angela. Can you believe I almost broke my leg, fam? Woo! How do we get to that place of power? Um, like I said it during my presentation, it's a lot of self-care. There's nothing you can do about what's going on in the world, so don't even stress about what's going on in your house, what's going on, the drama going on around you, what's going on the news. Getting to that self of power is has to do with a lot of self-care. As I mentioned in my presentation today, try to keep your mind and your thoughts and your actions and your interactions alkaline as opposed to acidic. I gave many, many examples of what behavior that is acidic versus behavior that is alkaline is. So, to get to the place of power that you're mentioning, keep your mind and body alkaline and get rid of anything in your life or anyone in your life that is acidic. And a lot of times, a fellow nine ether could be acidic because they're just toxic. Toxic is just another interchangeable word for acidic. So, if you know any toxic people that's bringing your vibration and frequency down, get rid of them. Honestly, just distance yourself from acidic and toxic people. Are the Tartarians gods? Well, this is a very interesting question. To me, in my previous video, I mentioned the difference between the gods and the demigods. So the gods are really the ones in the ethereal realm, and then the demigods are, um, they come from the god line, the god, I guess, lineage, I should point it out. So, to answer your question, some Tartarians are the demigods, which are the nine ethers, and then the barbarians, which are the Tamahu Tartarians, obviously are not the gods. And in terms of the giants, yes, some Tamahu were giants. I'm reluctant to say it, but I have to teach it anyway. Some Tamahu were giants and some Tamahu were not giants. So some Tartarians were gods and some Tartarians were not gods. I hope that you. Mensa Musa. Now, here, there is a Tartarian if there ever was one. Why do you think Mensa Musa was carrying around all that gold? He wasn't trying to show off, fam. He was using the gold because it helped him to charge up his cell phone, his tablet, his laptop. You know, it helped him to watch television. I mean, it helped him to communicate with Laquisha that was 1,000 miles away. That's why Mensa Musa was carrying around all that gold. Gold is valuable not because of its monetary value, but because of its ability to assist in getting free electricity. And it's also valuable in assisting nine ethers to be telepathic. So that's why Mensa Musa had all that gold. Okay. Um, any other questions, fam, before I close out? 3:52 now. I'm right on time. Yeah. I feel so accomplished this week and today. I feel so high vibration. I'm so glad that I was able to get out the information in about part 1 and part 2 in this live stream. Let me know, Angela or Eccentric, what did you learn today? Did you learn anything new today? Did you find anything fascinating, interesting? Um, what did you learn? Doo, 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 doo. Better yet, what do you want my next video to be about? I think that would be. What would you like me to discuss further? Eccentric, every time I speak to you, we always converse about Tartaria and Tartarians and the gods and things of that nature. So if you want me to do another take, another spin on Tartaria itself, you said that we are the Tartarians, but are we gods as well? Yes. So in my previous videos, I mentioned that being nine ether means you come from the god lineage. So I mentioned that yes, Black woman is God because she has the melanated nine ether womb, and of course she is the original woman. So if you're a nine ether woman, you are from the God lineage. Now we are fallen gods, so we've lost our superpowers, as I mentioned before in my other videos. We've lost our ability to self procreate, to levitate, to be telepathic. All of our superpowers that they show us in the X-Men, we've lost all those abilities. So we are no long we don't have the god superpowers. Although, yes, nine ethers are from the god lineage. So let me know if everything is interesting. Specifically what? What do you mean everything? Um, what do you think about my take on gold? Okay? That you'll never get that take anywhere else. Okay? Nobody. Um, is giving you the same information about gold as I am. When you broke down the yellow brick road, I was intrigued. Oh, yes. Let me tell you, sis, can you imagine? Just picture it. Even if you could go to your window right now, okay? Just look out out of your window onto your street that you live on. Everything covered in asphalt and tar. Okay? Just see if you could close your eyes and just imagine that image, except instead of asphalt and tar, it's gold bricks. Just on every street, every boulevard, every road, every corner, every turn, streets paved with gold. Oh my gosh. So that was a mind-blowing download, and it makes sense because, of course, the streets are, if you look at the streets from an aerial view, it looks like veins that are pointing to every house, every, it's connected to every driveway. So, of course, it would have to carry something other than cars. Well, it carried electricity to that building or to that house. Welcome, Imani Marshall. Welcome. I'm curious. Okay, and what is it that you're curious about? Does karma exist? So, listen, this is it's a tricky thing because, for example, I'm not saying that if there was a murderer or a rapist or a child molester, but then if he ate alkaline food, he's automatically going to ascend into the benevolent ethereal realm. I'm not saying that. Nor am I saying that if you eat all meat and drink wine every day, um, you're going to go to quote unquote hell. I'm not saying that either. I am saying to keep your mind, behavior, and thoughts alkaline. Now, in terms of karma, what you do, I don't subscribe to the law of attraction because how does a baby ask to be molested? How does an old woman ask to be robbed and murdered, right? So I don't subscribe to the law of attraction. In terms of karma, I think karma can be directed using spiritual magic. So if you're not careful, what you do will come back to bite you. However, I think that if you do spiritual rituals and magic, you can avoid all that. So if I were to steal a loaf of bread to to feed my 5-year-old because she's hungry and because I'm poor and homeless, um instead of having karma come to me, I would just do spiritual magic to keep karma from coming back to bite me from committing theft because I stole a loaf of bread, right? So karma does exist. However, each individual being has the ability to control the direction of karma using spiritual magic rituals and spells. So I meditate that I answered your question that way. I never heard it broken down that way you broke it down. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Meta assay, which in Twee means thank you. Yeah, because these are downloads that I get from the ethereal realm, and I love the fact that I am able to pass on the knowledge to people who are receptive of the information that I put out there. And a lot of people around me, they don't want to receive this information because they have cognitive dissonance. And so my teachings fall on deaf ears. So I really appreciate the Nine Ether Truth channel because it allows me an outlet to get the high frequency, high vibration information out to those who want to hear it because the people in my offline world, they don't want to hear it. They're very close-minded. um, so Meta essay for appreciating the way I break things down. Imani, I shouldn't say I hope. I meditate that I answered your question about karma to your satisfaction. Does anyone have any more feedback or questions? Reincarnation, does it exist? Excuse my grammar um I'm on my phone. We don't die, we transition, right? Yeah. So let's talk about, okay, you're talking about two different things here, reincarnation and transitioning. So yes, nine ethers transition, non-nine ethers, they die, they perish. However, this is what I spoke about earlier in this particular video about reincarnating, coming back here. You do not, and I repeat, you do not want to come back here. Okay, as a nine ether, you want to graduate, ascend to the heaven realm, which is the other level. And you can only do so by keeping your mind, body, and soul high vibration, high frequency, and I might add, as I mentioned in my video, alkaline. Okay. Once you keep your mind, body, soul alkaline, your chances of moving on to the next phase, transitioning on to the next phase, which is the higher realm, increases. However, if you keep your body and mind acidic and you surround yourself with toxic people and keep yourself in toxic environment and you don't detox, your body will remain acidic. And if you transition while your body is acidic, the chances of you reincarnating back to this terrible realm, which I really shouldn't label it a terrible realm. It's actually a neutral realm. It's just that the powers that ought not be, they're lowering the frequency of and vibration of this realm. However, yeah, keep your body alkaline and you will be fine. Hey, that rhymes. Is it just me? Did I just rhyme for no apparent reason? Um, Message retracted? Okay. Any other questions or feedback before I close out because it is 4:02 now, and in a few minutes I will be ending the live stream. I'm gonna see if I can find a way to cut off the 45. So, fam, if you watch this in the archive, just fast forward to 45 minutes and then the video will start that way. Okay? In fact, I'm going to put it in the description. Please fast forward to the 45-minute mark. So if there are no further question, let me type here. Any other questions or comments or feedback? Any other questions, comments, or feedback? Doot, doot, doot. Let's see. Uh, oh, I never want to come back in here at all because someone told me that the blacks never die, they transition. Yeah, so that what you, what you just said is 100% on point. Okay, we transition. However, there's a caveat to that. Okay, we only transition if we keep our frequency vibration high and we keep our physical vessel alkaline. Okay, we only move on to the next ethereal level, the heaven realm, if there are certain conditions. If we do what we're supposed to do while we're here in the physical realm, which is keep our frequency and vibration high. If our frequency and vibration is kept low, and if we keep our physical vessel and our mind in an acidic state, and we happen to perish or transition, we will get reincarnated back into this realm. So, like I mentioned before, your behavior and your mindset has a lot to do with whether or not you get reincarnated back here. Okay? If you don't learn your lesson, and your lesson is to keep your frequency and vibration high while you're here, if you don't learn that lesson, you will come back. It's that simple. So be mindful of the music that you listen to. Okay? You may love trap and hip hop. However, I'm sorry to tell you, but trap music and hip hop music is infusing low frequency and low vibration into you and keeping you acidic. So your favorite music might be keeping you, your physical vessel, acidic. So be mindful of that. You may want to consider switching to classical music minus any words. Okay? That type of music will increase your physical your frequency and vibration. If you don't, then the things you do, the things you eat, the things you drink, even the cleaning products you use, even the beauty care products you use, maybe bringing your frequency and vibration down low and making your physical vessel acidic unbeknownst to you. So now that you know better, it is your job to do better. It's 4:05. I don't want to close out the chat until I think that everyone has exhausted all questions. Um, so I'll leave the chat open and leave the live stream on for a couple more minutes. I mean, I was late, so technically I owe you guys 45 minutes. Sorry about that. Any other question? Oh, music. Oh my goodness. It's not only music. I mean, food too is a big part of our life. I mean, we've got to eat for our survival. However, I mean, if you constantly consume alcohol, meat, dairy, phone app delivery, GMO food, packaged food, junk food, sugary food, sorry, you're going to be a very acidic person. And as I said before, cancer survives in an acidic physical vessel. And it's not only cancer, if you're acidic, you cannot ascend to the ethereal realm with your benevolent nine ethers. It's that simple. Trying my best to eat more alkaline. Currently pescatarian, trying to go vegan. Okay, be careful with vegan. Vegan is government created. So a lot of vegan food is filled with soy, tofu, and soy and tofu makes the body acidic. It is actually a science lab created food like substance. So a lot of vegan food is bad for you. Okay. So instead of labeling yourself as vegan, because that's the buzzword out there. Remember I said anything mainstream is automatically acidic. What you want to do is go plant-based. Now, I consider myself a pescatarian too because I love me some salmon. Oh my gosh, and some red snapper fish. Oh my goodness. However, I have to be mindful of not to consume that which has two eyes and that bleeds. Okay, so apart from that, I am mostly, I would say 90%, 90 to 95% plant-based is what I label myself as. Organic plant-based at that. Yes, I have some cookies and some muffins here and there, and once or twice a year I'll have a glass of wine, blah blah blah. And I do listen to some hip hop here and there. However, I have a very stringent spiritual regimen. I detox my body on a regular basis, and I have rituals that I do to keep my aura cleansed and to keep me spiritually cleansed and protected. So, If you don't have a strong spiritual regimen, be careful of what you intake into your body. What's your opinion on interracial dating? Well, I don't know if you were here for the for all of my presentation, but I'm gonna show you. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna show you. Okay. Um, Bottom line, I mentioned that there are some relationships that are acidic versus alkaline. So you don't. That's me and my foot there. So, acidic versus alkaline dynamic, you probably missed this, but do watch this video in the archives. There are phenotypes that are acidic and there are ones that are alkaline. You got to know the difference. Although, um, I said that non-nine ethers are acidic and nine ethers are alkaline. And then when you mix acidic phenotype with an alkaline phenotype, the union is automatically acidic. So, no to mixing acidic relationships with alkaline beings. Absolutely not. No, no, no. No, no. Underline, italic, bold, 300 size font. No. Okay. Um, Next chapter. What do I think about vegan? Oh, yes, salmon is so good. Yeah. Yeah, vegan is government created. Stay away from anything that's labeled vegan. However, make sure that you're plant-based. So there's a difference between vegan and being plant-based. They are not the same. So yeah. Imani, can you let me know why you keep retracting your messages? Why do you keep deleting your messages, your comments? Okay, and also no to lesbianism. That is an acidic union, not an alkaline union. So what you're seeing on the screen is acidic on two levels, the interracial part and the lesbian part. This is an acidic image that you are viewing. Matter of fact, it's so disgusting, I don't even want it on my page. Quite frankly, I want something good on my page. Okay. The chakra colors. There we go. On the screen are the chakra colors. That's fine by me. Oh, this is a good question. Do you think the nine ethers will eventually get back in power? Of course, absolutely. YES. Yes, yes, yes. If you haven't watched my other videos, Imani, please go ahead and do so. Let's see here. What video can I refer you to? So, in a lot of my videos, I talk about the war. Okay? And it's a never-ending war, and it's a war that is ongoing, on and on. And the ones at the bottom will be at the top, and the ones that are at the top will be at the bottom, on and on and on. So it's a never-ending war. So if we're at the bottom, there's only one way for us to go, which is at the top. So when this crap gets washed away or blown up to smithereens or whatever the cataclysm is that's coming, it will be renewed. So when it is renewed, it will go back to being the Garden of Eden, and that's when we will be back at the top. Let's see here. What video of mine can I refer you to? So many of my videos, I mentioned this in, let's see. But I want to direct you to a specific one. Oh boy. I'm so proud of my little my video that I am My videos are accumulating. Some of them are not mine, but so I can direct you to let's see here. Okay, so yes, Black Woman is God, part one, two, and three. You can view those. One, one, two, three, and four actually. What else? There is one that I had. A lot of these videos, you know, YouTube has blocked them. You can't even see them. Huh. Yeah, just go to that series of video. Yes, Black Woman is God, part one, two, and three. And I talk about this that we're on a cycle and that we will be at the top once again. Oh, let's see. I I overthink if it's the right question. Oh, okay. No, there's no wrong question. Just ask. Just ask anything you want to ask. That's why I retract my apologies. It's okay. No need to apologize. I was just curious. You don't have to retract anything. You're amongst family here, and I owe you guys 45 minutes. So sorry about the 45 minute snafu getting this live. Oh, it was such a fight. I think I need to do more of these so that I can get familiar with the technical part of putting on these live streams because I am not good at that. Any other questions, Imani or Eccentric? I don't know if Angela is still with us. I don't know if she's still with us. So let me know if you have any other questions, because if you don't, I'm going to close out the live chat and get ready to start on dinner. My plant-based dinner makes sense that the black woman is oh, definitely. Well, I mean, come on, we're the first. Okay? Who the heck can birth who the heck did the people on of Earth womb come out of? The Tamahu? I don't think so. They're clones of clones of clones. Matter of fact, I think I'm really itching to do a clone of a clone of a clone video. Okay? Because these Tamahu that are surrounding us, do we really know who they are and where they come from? Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, the nine ether woman, she is from the god lineage. She is the most high. And it doesn't matter what she's doing, where she's from, what she's saying, she's still of the god lineage. The non-nine ethers are not of the god lineage. And sorry to say, the wombless atrophied nine ethers, which are the nine ether men, come from God's womb. So they are a byproduct of the Most High, but they're not the Most High because they come from her womb. This is what the powers that ought not be don't want you to know. This is what they were hiding in the Immaculate Conception, quote unquote, story. The fact that nine ether woman could self procreate, and we're the ones that populated the earth, right? All right. So I'm going to, let's see. Oh, so when nine ethers get back in power, what do you predict will happen? N- It's not. So everything will be reset and will be made anew. So all the things that happened previous to the cataclysm will be here. So we will have access to free energy. We will be at one with nature. Everything will be equilibrium. Just think of the Garden of quote unquote Eden, but just with high tech, throw in some technology in there, right? And that's what it will be. So that's my spiritual speculation. Everything will be, I don't want like to use the word harmonious because there's the word harm in there. Everything will be equilibrium after the cataclysm. So, it always starts out equilibrium and then it goes into low vibration chaos. So it goes equilibrium, low vibration chaos, equilibrium, low vibration chaos. And that cycle, unfortunately, is never ending. So, yeah. Um, please do, please do, please do what exactly? What do you mean? Please do. Oh, you mean putting out a video and talking about the clones of clones of clones? You know what? Since you requested it, since you requested it, eccentric, I will. Okay? I'll put out a new live next week and I'll speak of these clones. Oh gosh. These clones, I'll make a 2-hour thing of it and then I'll have some questions and answers at the end. Um, and the funny thing is, the clones don't even know they're clones. Anyways, I won't say too much. I'll save it for next week. I think Sunday afternoon is the best time in my schedule to do one of these. So get ready for the announcement. Eccentric, you requested it. I will put together a presentation about these clones of clones. And I will literally call it Clones of Clones of Clones Part 1 just for you, eccentric. And that's what will be I'll talk about next week. Sunday between 2 and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Any other questions? Doo, doo, doo. Okay, you're welcome. And since you said thanks, and it seems to be that there are no further questions, I am going to close down the live stream. This is yours truly, Trinity God X, saying to those in the chat that would be Sis Eccentric, um, Imani Marshall, and earlier Angela. May I say thank you for being here and thank you for your patience with me with the snafu at the beginning. The more I do these, the more I will get used to um, the technical side of live streaming. So you're very welcome for you to say thank you. And yeah, I can't wait either. I'm gonna go in. I just meditate that U-turn won't block me and stop the content because it will be filled with so much truth that it will be a threat to the matrix. So until next time, my nine ether nation, this is Trinity God X saying oneness, and I'm going to end the live stream now. Take care, everyone. Have a good week. Remember, keep your mind and body alkaline and keep your thoughts and actions and behavior high frequency and high vibration. Take care.